Hi everyone, Matthias here. I thought I would give you a quick introduction to what this video is all about. So when I bought the car, it had a number of problems. One of them was that the passenger airbag light was on, and I didn't know what the problem was, although I thought it could be pretty serious. Naturally, it would fail the safety inspection, so I knew that would be something that I would need to look into. And that's what this video is about. So the troubleshooting of this problem, along with the different steps that I took to fix it. It is fixable, it was in mine, and it's a pretty common issue with Tiguan's, especially if you have a sunroof that could be leaking, which was my case, and if you have water accumulating inside the car, you could get into corroded connectors and wiring, and that was the problem that I had with mine. So here's the video. I hope this helps in case you run into similar problems. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Enjoy the video. Hi everyone, so quick update on the airbag fault that I'm having on this car. And so I went and got one of these new passenger seat controller module, which controls all sorts of things, from the safety belt, so that makes sure it clicks, to the presence of the passenger, to the airbags and all this for the passenger. I went to the junkyard and picked one up, but I already looked into this in the past. This got ripped apart. Clearly something was done, because there's this wire too that doesn't connect to anything right now, but was going to the panel. And I looked at the connectors down there, and lo and behold, look at what I found. First of all, when I looked at the very end here of that connector, you can tell there's some corrosion, so that's never a good thing. And then looking at, so I removed the seat right now, so it's much easier to work on the underneath, and the connector came right out, and this is the other side, which is actually even worse, because we're missing pins here, and it's all corroded. So it's really unfortunate that I'm realizing this now. I really wish I would have looked at this earlier, but I need to go back to the junkyard, and I'm gonna grab these two connectors and splice them, and I should be back in business. I don't foresee any problems there. There are more wires here. There's a cutout actually in the floor, but that doesn't really help us in this particular matter. So clearly, I mean, I might even try to splice them by hand and see if that would actually resolve the problem. But clearly there's a problem here, and that could very well be the culprit for this pesky airbag problem. So more to come soon. Stay put. So I started working on this airbag issue, as I mentioned. And so I found what the problem was, as I showed in my previous video. So we're going to look into this problem here with the connectors. We have corrosion going on in this connector. We have that connector too, which is now has corrosion and actually has a broken pin in it too. So that's no good. And we also have to look at the other side of that connector, which is this one, which connects into the one that I was just showing you just a moment ago. And that one is actually that one has broken pins too, right? So it's a very I guess it's a common issue when you have connectors like that. If you look really inside the connector, we have a pin that's missing. Certainly this is what's causing some of the issues that I've seen in the error codes in the system. Additionally, you can see this purple and white wire, which really has no business in this car, and that connects to the airbag module under the seat for the passenger. So clearly there has been some splicing going on. In fact, they even broke the tab that holds the box in place. You can see the bracket here was forced, and they broke the plastic. So I'm gonna have to try to secure the box back where it needs to be a little bit better. The whole thing was botched. I mean, it's really unfortunate to see that, but at the same time, we're not in a position that we cannot fix it. And I think this problem down here was actually overlooked, and they tried to actually bypass the system by using this wire, which was going all the way to the fuse box on the other side, on the driver's side, and they probably didn't notice or didn't diagnose this problem correctly. So we're gonna do it right. The idea is that I'm gonna be replacing this harness here. I have another one that I got at the junkyard, which is good. There's no corrosion on this one, which is good. So I'm gonna disconnect everything here. We're gonna leave the airbag connectors, so the wires going to these yellow connectors will stay in place. That's actually a separate wire that runs to the side here, to the side airbags in the seat, so we don't have to worry about these. And we're gonna replace this bracket. I have another one here that's gonna be a lot in better condition, because this one actually has also broken tabs and won't go back in. And I want this to be secure to the chassis. And we're gonna splice these connectors together, right? So I have a replacement one, which I got from the junkyard. I got about 2 inches of wire here. I've got the other guy, which is right here, which this one again is looking perfect. There's no corrosion. I got all my pins in there, so everything is fine. So I just need to cut these wires off and splice them together. So we're gonna use these little sleeves that you might have seen before. I know that some mechanics are using those. They are basically insulated little connectors, or couplers, if you will, that come in different sizes. It's hard to do it with one hand here. Bear with me. There we are. Okay, and these actually have already like welding in there, right? So it's they're built so that you can get them to you heat them up, and basically you see there's a little silver sleeve inside that once you heat that up, it melts onto the wires, so that makes the splicing better. And they come in different diameters. We're gonna need different sizes here depending on the size of the wire. And yeah, we need this little like a little heater or something of that kind to heat it up. I've had mixed experiences with those. I mean, if you heat them too much, they will melt. The plastic will melt. The good thing is that there's already a protective sleeve similar to a shrink tube, right? That's already built in. So I'm hoping this will work well for what we need to do here. So let's get started. The first step is to disconnect the battery. Every time you work on the system that involves airbag wiring, disconnect the battery, because you don't want to create a short and deploy the airbags accidentally. That would not be a good day. So I'm gonna start with that, and we're gonna get into the wiring here. Okay, so let's get started on this. The first step will be to replace the harness. My battery is disconnected. By the way, this is a 10mm nut on the battery. It's a pretty common one. To remove the bracket here, so there's this bracket at the bottom. This has these little clamp things, right? So these go in the side wall here, in this hole. There's a hole in the chassis here to put where all these connectors go. If you want to take this out, you're gonna have to actually press on both sides with a little screwdriver or pick tool and pull at the same time. You want to really press first before you pull, so that you're not putting too much pressure on the two little wings. That way the bracket can come off easily. Now, if you're questioning or curious to know how these things actually come off, let me zoom in a little bit here. Let me show you actually how this is built, so that in the event that you're struggling, just like I was, this will help. So this connector here has a little latch on the back, right in the middle, and that latch has a little tooth on the rear side, if you will. So when it's attached to the brackets, towards the rear of the car. If you want to take it out, you're gonna have to push sideways this little latch in order for it to unlock from the supporting bracket, right? And all of those actually are attached the same way. So this slides on from the top down, and once it's on, it's locked in position with this little latch. All of them actually work the same way. So since I'm replacing this, I'm gonna actually remove these connectors in a similar fashion. This one actually can come off. There's a little latch here that you can tell. This should come off pretty easily. Yeah, actually I had to wiggle it from the side. So this one is out. And that one actually has the little latch here in the back. So I'm gonna use that tool to push the little latch sideways so that this can come out. And that's, oh, it's in the underneath. Sorry, my bad, it's on the underneath. So you push it sideways and you pull up and the thing unlocks. And if you look at the way the connector is built, which actually is really easy to see on that one, you see this little tooth, right? And this actually swings, right? So if you push on the tab, it unlocks and then you pull it out, right? So this bracket is now out. So it's gonna go to the garbage. I have a replacement one. And what's gonna happen here, so let me zoom out here because we're gonna start looking at the wiring. We're gonna be replacing this harness, right? So in order to do that, I'm gonna need to remove the zip tie here that's keeping everything together. And what we'll do is remove the zip tie up here too. We can replace those easily. There we are, almost. Be careful not to cut any wires when you do that. And here. There we are. Now we have this sleeve here, right? It looks like a skin, like a snake skin. And we can slide the connectors out. So before we do that, I'm gonna disconnect that one here. Yeah, so there's a latch right in the middle, right here, on the inside of the connector, right? So at the top, you push that latch towards the inside of the connector, and the connector should come out as you pull on it. There we go, this one is out. This one works a little bit differently. There's so many different types of connectors on this car, it's not even funny. This one actually slides up. So you need to push the latch inside and you push it out, it swings, it kind of slides like that, and then the connector should come out just like that. So see this little slider, the black slider, it's actually spring mounted and it slides on the connector. Okay, so take that out. Now we have our connectors out. And now we're gonna pull these out through the sleeve, one at a time, because otherwise you won't have enough space. So one here, the other one is here. And the reason why I'm doing this is because we're only replacing these two guys right here, right? This one and that one. We don't need to replace the actual airbags, because this is a separate harness, it's a separate wire, so we can actually deal with those separately. So there we are. Now we follow this harness up, right, and we get to the seat up here where there is a little bracket that kind of holds it attached to this. We don't really have to, we can actually remove the whole thing. I believe I have a replacement one here. So this comes off, and underneath there, let me turn the light here, there we go. Underneath there, you have more zip ties that you need to remove, right? So I'm gonna remove the zip tie here. Again, be careful not to damage your wires. Which I'm trying to do here. There we are. Okay, that one is out. And we're gonna keep going, following all these different connectors. So we got this one here. Again, different connector type, just to make it easier. This one's got a little latch inside that needs to be pushed in. So we need a pointy tool to get to it. Actually, let me remember, because, oh no, this one actually has a tab in the back. that needs to be lifted up. So you lift that one up and the connector comes out, if I recall correctly. And it's hard to do. There we are. So this one's disconnected. This one's got a little slider on top, gray, right? So you slide that one out and it should disconnect. Okay, so let me take a look at the other harness here. I disconnected this guy on the other one. And oh yeah, there's a latch on top. Oh, so you press down. So you press down on the top and it comes out. There we go. Now we have our box here, which has a big latch on top, so that one is easy. That comes right out. And then we're continuing down the path of all the connectors. So there are 3 more. There's the passenger presence sensor. I'll take that out. Okay, so it's starting to feel a little bit free now. There's another zip tie here that I'm gonna cut. There we go. And we have 2 more connectors. These are a little bit more difficult to show you because they're kind of behind here, but they're right at the bottom there, right? And these are pretty easy to remove. One of them has a red pull out. Let me show you, because this one is actually interesting. There's so many different types of connectors. So you see that one right here? There. So this one has a little tab on top, and you need to pull on the top to unplug it. Once the tab is out, which it is in this case, the whole connector should unplug pretty easily. And I think it's on which side already? So you press down on the latch and this should come out. There we go. All right. So this is attached to the seat. We're gonna have to force pry it because it's using some of these little locking these little locks that actually lock to the underneath of the seat, so they're not easy to remove. So I have one of these trim removal tools that's gonna come pretty handy here, and we're gonna have to pry out on the connector, and it will probably break, right, which is what happened here. So these actually do, now that I look at them, they do slide in and out on that connector, but it might be difficult to actually even get them to slide out. In my case, I will. So now that you know, actually, they do slide out. I'm gonna try to slide out the other one if I can, but there's a little locking tooth underneath them, which is pretty much impossible to get to, and I'm not sure whether, I think I can actually see it here on that one. I can't really show you that because it's right underneath there. It did come out. Okay, so there's a little tooth right underneath there. Let me try to get a little closer for you. So if you look at the connector, which is right down here, right here, there's a little tooth right at the end of it, right? And if you press down there, it will unlock and the whole thing is gonna slide out. So this way, right to the left. And that way you can remove it cleanly and you still have a lock to reattach the connector to the underneath of the seat, right? So not easy, but if you wanna do it right, that's what you're gonna do. And this connector needs to disconnect too. This one is easy though. There's a tab at the end. Press the tab, pull out, and the whole thing oh, there's two tabs actually, one on each side. On this one, so one left, one right. Press on both at the same time and disconnect. All right, so our harness is now out, along with the splicing that was done with a purple cable. So I'm really happy that I'm actually taking all this shit out, because honestly that was kind of sketchy. All right, so now we have the replacement harness, which is right here, and we're gonna look at the code, make sure it's the same. The one I had was, if you're ever looking for the replacement part, that's what it's called. So 5NO, okay, 5NO 971-366AP, and the one I'm putting in is 5NO 571-366AP, so it's the same, right? Would have been a bad surprise if this was actually not the same, but in this case they do match, so that's good. And we're going to reattach all this now to the underneath of the system here, and we're going to do our best, because quite frankly we might not be able to get it the exact same place. This one was actually here, I believe. Yeah, right here we have our connector here, which we're gonna plug in. So it's about plugging everything back the way it should be, and we should be able to get a pretty clean result here. So I'm gonna try to reattach all of this. We're gonna rerun these the airbag cables into the sleeve, right? Which might not be too easy. In fact, we'll see how that's gonna go. I might need a shorter wire to actually bring them in. And yeah, reattach everything. So nothing super fancy here. Probably not gonna record, or I will speed up the video so that you have I'm not wasting your time. But it's basically reattaching everything. I need to put the box back in there. So normally it's right here. Actually it's on the other side. So it normally I'm looking at the piece of plastic that got ripped out here, and I believe this would have been like that. Yeah, it goes like this. Like this, there, and this attaches on, was attaching on top. So because it's upside down. Is it upside down? Or is it like that? No. Actually trying to see how this thing was attached to the plastic. So it was coming from there, and I'm actually a little surprised about that, because I thought, I was pretty certain this was attached to there. So we will reconnect all of that. Gonna have to actually look at the way this is supposed to be attached, but yeah, that's gonna be basically the goal of this part here. So I'm gonna stop the video, and I will resume once I have everything back in place. All right, so the new harness is now in place and secured. We have reattached everything where things were, rerun all the wires, secured all the connectors. I managed to fix the anchor point on the little box here, the control module, so it's now sitting where it's supposed to be. It's not dangling the way it was before. The other tab actually slides in there. There's a little pocket there that slides in, and there's just one screw holding it in place, right? So very easy to do. Make sure you got all the connectors connected. And now we're gonna look into the chassis side of the harness, because we need to do some cutting and some splicing here. So let's get this started. Okay, so there's really not a lot of space here. In fact, I kind of broke the mat here to create an opening so that I can get a little bit more length of cable. The big connector here has some corrosion inside, but it's not major, right? So I'm gonna clean this up nicely because I really don't have a lot of cable here of length to actually splice this. So I'm probably gonna leave that one alone. The other one, however, we need to resplice. The good thing is that I will have a little bit more length because I have some wiring here. I did cut open the mat actually in the other Tiguan that I took this from, and that allowed me to get a little bit more length of wire to play with. And we're going to be using the very small ones here. These should do good, and we should be in business. This one, however, I'm gonna clean it up nicely with a little brush. Make sure that I remove all traces of corrosion. I got some electrical cleaner, contact cleaner, so I'm gonna use this as well. I don't think there's an easy way to really take all of this out. I know there's some sort of a slider in there, but I don't believe that I can operate it. No, actually it just snapped. So this is locked in place. It's not designed to be removed. So I'm just gonna clean this up nicely, and I think we should be good, right? So I'm gonna start with that. I don't think it's gonna be really complicated. Should be pretty easy. Alright, so we're gonna start this with this one. I got this can of contact cleaner, so I'm gonna spray in there. I have a clean brush here. Just gonna make sure that there is no signs or no traces of corrosion. Which is not super easy to clean because it's inside the connector. But I think from what I can tell, it's actually doing the job. So I want to make sure you squash the surface of the tabs of the blades, the actual connectors, the metal pieces inside. Make sure you remove all traces of corrosion as much as you can, because once corrosion gets in there, it's never a good thing. So I have this little pick tool that I'm just trying to actually rub the surface of the metal tab. And hopefully there's going to be enough. Alright, so we'll clean that up. Looks decently clean actually on the inside. Yeah, that's not bad. I really don't think it's going to be a problem with the contact itself. It's more over time I want to make sure that there's no rust or corrosion that develops on this. That's my main concern, right? I want this repair to last. So this one looks good. So I think we're in business here. This one, obviously more work required. I'm gonna take the tape off here. It's got a little wrap-on tape. You can always replace that with electrical tape if you need to. Cut the tape, make sure you don't cut the wires. Okay. And yeah, I'm just gonna cut at the very end here. Just wiping the little bit of glue left from the tape on the wires. So I got my 3 wires. I got the replacement one here. So I will remove the insulation on those. It's a very small gauge. Okay, so this looks like a 22 gauge. Really want to make sure you're not removing copper. Okay, so that works. On this side now. A little bit of length here, luckily. So if anything will happen, you can still fix that. Okay, there we are. You can see actually the wire is black, so that has been corroded for a long time. Not sure whether you can see this on the video, but it's a dark copper, right? So that means that water did get in there. I would really like to go a little bit further into the wire and get into something less black. But I think the contact still should be okay. I really don't have a lot of length to play with, so I'm just gonna leave it that way. So now we're gonna splice these two together. Oh, need to put a sleeve on first. That's gonna be a problem otherwise. Okay, so put the sleeve on, slide it all the way. There we go. Take it out. Splice the wires. Simple splicing really, so cross the wires and you wrap each end over the other side. Make sure you don't go too far because otherwise it might be too big for it to fit into the sleeve, into the little connector here, which is apparently the problem I'm having right now. It's a little too big. So the next sleeve up would have been a little big anyways. Let me see if I can slide this over. Is it going? No, it's not going. Okay, so we're gonna do this. Gonna take the next size up. That guy. So the sleeve should shrink normally. Okay. Put the sleeve on. Splice again, which is really not great because your wire will become weaker as you keep splicing and twisting the wires. So I'm going to do a very quick splice on that one. There we go, just a few rounds. Slide this over. Make sure you have the welding material on top of your splice, right? Not on top of the insulation. And then we're gonna just heat this up and yeah, hopefully that's gonna work. Alright, so I got my little benzomatic here. I'm gonna let it heat up until it's red inside. So normally it shouldn't be done with a live flame. I really would want this to be more of a heat gun type of thing. Really struggling to get this to actually act the way I need it to act. So I've had issues in the past with these little things because the compound right in the middle would actually take a long time to melt, and normally they're actually suggesting that you get a little adapter that kind of, you know, I think it's getting there, a little adapter that allows for the heat to be more evenly blown on the actual right now, as you can tell, it's struggling to, it should really come liquid, and it's not coming liquid. Should behave like weld, really. So if this is causing me too much trouble, I will end up doing a regular weld, because this, you can see the plastic is kind of getting burnt, and this is still not doesn't seem to be really welding. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong with this thing. It's a bit frustrating because I bought a whole kit of them, and it's not really behaving the way I thought it would. Maybe I can put a little bit of flux on the copper, and that might actually work a little bit better, but I didn't really expect that this would actually take that long for the silver to start melting. And here, you know, so the tube is shrinking, but it's not only shrinking, it's kind of melting as well. So I don't know, this is this doesn't look right to me. It doesn't really make me happy either, because it's holding, so looks like the contact might be good, but I don't think it's doing what it's supposed to do. I'm gonna go get some flux, and maybe we're gonna get better results. The copper was oxidized, so when you have corrosion, it really doesn't help. Okay, so let's see if we get a better result when we put a little bit of flux before we heat that up. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong here, but if you look at the box, in fact, you see that they put a little there's a note there, right? And it shows this adapter that goes right around. So when you use a your heat gun, it actually kind of flows the hot air around the little ring, the silver ring, and that could very well be the problem I'm having here, right? Is that I'm not really well equipped to do this correctly. Well, that being said, I mean, push comes to shove, I will do a regular solder using just my soldering iron, and that will do just fine. But I really wanted to use these things because I bought them for exactly that kind of use, and just getting frustrated with the fact that it doesn't seem to be working the way it should. If you think I'm doing it wrong, leave a comment below and let me know if you've used those little adapters in the past, and if you think that what I'm doing is just completely incorrect or plain wrong, just let me know, because I want to learn also from this, as you can imagine. So alright, so I got my splice. I'm going to put a little bit of a flux on this, maybe it's going to help. Okay, I'm gonna reheat my little gun, which actually melted my mat here. Should have been a little bit more careful. I'm gonna let it go up temperature a little bit. Slide this over. There we go. Okay, it's in heat gun mode. So let's try that again. Yeah, it's heating. The little shield thing that's on the box here that I was just showing you probably will help with the tube as well as you shrink it. But I really would like to see, which I've seen in the past, but it took forever, is the actual welding area kind of liquefy and doing a proper weld, which is really taking some time here. And even with the flux, it's not doesn't seem to be behaving the way it should. Really starting to dislike this this system. Yeah, because I can see the plastic is just melting right now. So I don't know why. Well, it's shrinking, but it's also melting at the same time. So it shouldn't be that way, right? The whole idea was that the little metal silver ring in the middle should just go from solid to liquid and do a proper weld, right? That's the whole idea. That's what makes it appealing, is that everything happens within the sleeve. You don't have to do the soldering and then have the shrink tube on top then, and all of this jazz, right? But here it's not. It's really struggling, and it's not. Doesn't even seem to be going liquid. Right. So again, it could be my little benzomatic thing that's not. It's not providing enough heat, which is a shame, really, because I thought it would. But yeah, it's not. It's not really. It's not really doing what it's supposed to right now. So I think it's still okay from a contact standpoint. Like it's probably going to be good enough. No, it's not. And the other one is probably not either. Yeah. All right, so this is obviously not going well. I'm gonna take this out because this just upsets me. It's a waste time. I'm gonna do a proper soldering, and gonna go get some shrink tube, and I got some shrink tube downstairs, and do proper splicing, and that's gonna go much better. All right. All right, so my iron is warming up. Got some shrink tube here, different sizes. Probably gonna go with the yellow one. Should be a good size here. Really disappointed in these little sleeves, but what can you do? Cut sections about 1 inch long. 3 sections of this shrink tube will actually shrink the way it should. There we go. So I got my 3 sections of shrink tube. I'm gonna splice everything so that we're good to go here. We'll use a little bit of flux. Shrink tube is a little big actually, but I think it should shrink enough to what we need. Okay, that's one. Oops, didn't work. Not the best splicing in the world, but it's okay for what we need here. This wire bothers me. I'm just gonna try to strip it a little bit further in, see if I can get some clean copper. Still not. Well, I'm just hoping that there will be enough contact surface here for the wire to make contact, but this is ugly, man. It's an ugly wire. Ugly, ugly, ugly corroded wire. That's number 2 that I have to undo now, because I forgot to put the sleeve. Yeah, that's a common one. Gonna try to see if I can bring the copper back a little bit on that one. Just scratching the corrosion. Bring some bright metal. That seems to work actually, so it's gonna be a little bit better. Better contact and connectivity. Alright, so we'll put the sleeve on this time. Weep. Redo our splice. There we go. It would be a shame to do all this work and realize that one wire is still misbehaving. So we're good here. Good there. Oh man, forgot the goddamn thing again. My God, I'm just not focusing right now. Okay. Can smell that my iron is getting hot here, so that's good. Good. Alright, so we're good here. We're good there. We're good here. So we're gonna put a bit of flux on this. I'm gonna go get my silver. Alright. Got my solder. Move that little guy on the other side for consistency. A little bit of flux. Okay. And hopefully, I think this should be good actually. Yeah. certainly looks a little bit more promising than the sleeve that we had earlier. Alright, so that's good. Okay, that's good enough. Smoke is the flux basically evaporating, and we're good here too. Just gonna put a little bit more on that one, and we are good. All right, well that's better. Better. It was actually quicker too. Probably should have done this first time around. Okay, so I'm gonna reuse my little heat gun here. Alright, so slide the sleeves on top. Try to remember where you have your weld so that it stays in the middle. Yeah, that shrinks good. Okay, I'm gonna do all of them at the same time because otherwise I could accidentally shrink them. You can see it's shrinking nice because you can almost see the texture of the weld, of the soldering we just did, through the tube. So that means that the tube is really squeezing around that soldering, right? So that's what you want. A heat gun would probably be better than this little thing. I just don't have any at the moment, so we probably need to get one. I really don't use a heat gun very often, but for that kind of application, a heat gun would be preferred. Right? Okay, well that looks pretty good. I think that's what we need. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. So what I will probably do here is put just a little bit of electrical tape on top of all this, and just call it a day. So we will reassemble everything. We want to reuse the we'll use the new bracket. So this is the old one. Gonna toss that. Got the new one right here. So there's a key actually on this thing, because there's a hole in the pocket. So if you look down there, you'll see that there's, in this hole, you actually have the two holes for the two little locks, and there's a key at the bottom in the middle, right? So you have to put it in the right position. So we're gonna reassemble this. I'm gonna actually put these connectors on there first. I cannot do that for all of them actually. So this one is the pink. they're all color coded, right? So if you look at the overall thing here, you have color codes. This one is pink, and here is the pink mill that goes in there. This one is orange, and that's the pink orange here. So I will just start reassembling everything. This one I believe goes in the middle, and I'm gonna actually put them back where they were supposed to go. And this guy now has a lot more cable to go with, so I have a little bit more flexibility in how this whole thing was actually assembled. Alright, so here's where we're at with this, because I didn't like the way it was. So I pushed the connector all the way to the right here, right? The big one. And it's attached to the last little bracket, because this bracket is actually different. And I realized there's some sort of a sleeve on that one, which was the original one. The one I took from the other Tiguan actually doesn't have that sleeve in the middle. So it does have the rails and everything. So I got the big connector to the right, then I got this guy here, which is already connected. And I like it better because there's a little bit of flexibility on the wires. And then we have this one here that is not connected yet because that's the mill. And then we have the one that was problematic, which we fixed. And that one is all the way to the left, right? So we got our sleeves and everything is in there. Pretty happy with the way it looks right now. So I'm just gonna reconnect everything and yeah, and take it from there, because I need to swing the seat down a little bit in order to get enough length. And before I do that, I want to kind of vacuum the area a little bit and clean up my tools. All right, so everything is reconnected. No surprise here. I mean, it was pretty straightforward. I like the way the cables are organized in there. I think it looks good, and no, there's no wire stressed or anything, so that's good. Pretty easy, right? You can't really go wrong because the connectors are all unique. So now it's kind of the moment of truth. I'm gonna reconnect the battery, and I'm doing everything with you guys because I haven't really done this so far. A bit of a spark here, but that's okay, because there were some circuits still being energized. The good thing is that we didn't get any airbags getting deployed, so that's a good thing. The one thing that I'm curious about now is whether, oh, see, the airbag light just went off. Now that is new, so that is looking extremely promising. I'm gonna start the car. Can't really let it on for too long. When I disconnect the battery, I get the steering light on. I get basically everything turns on until it kind of recalibrates. But the airbag light is gone, and that is really good news, because that means that now I can take it for safety. It would have actually failed safety in Ontario if the airbag light was on. So that's really really promising. So that's I'm gonna put the seat back on. There's only these triple square 10 mil screws that attach the seat to the frame. That's gonna be really quick. And the next step will be this set here. I'm not sure what's up with this, but none of these buttons actually work. So I'll show you how to take out this center console here. It's actually pretty easy. And we're gonna take a look at this. Maybe it's just the connector that's disconnected, or maybe it's something else. We shall see. And that would explain why the trunk actually still doesn't open when I press the button. All right, so I hope this was helpful. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you, guys.